Is Chase Sexton out for the season? Hey everybody, Walter Wanderers, buckle up, strap in. We got hard hitting, pull no punches, no sugarcoating it, no rainbows or sunshine. I'm just going to give it to you and give it to you straight. We got a good one to unpackage today. Welcome to the show. I hope everybody's doing great. So who's ready to step back on the Moto merry-go-round as we examine the good, the bad, and maybe a little bit of the ugly?
No, Walty, not the ugly. Only examine rainbows and sunshine.
No. Somebody's got to read between the lines and look between the Moto ruts. And we've got some ruts developing, don't we? Here's the thing, my friends. This is a story that's as old as time. The rider that doesn't feel at home anymore at their team. And for whatever reason, this has been something that's kind of a pattern now with our boy Chase Sexton. It happened to him at Honda, courtesy of the Wonder Boy, the chosen one, the Moto Messiah, and his dynamic duo. Brother, no fault to you guys. Jet, listen, bro. Hats off to you, dog. You came and you answered a lot of questions. You are still an alien, a gazelle, a ballerina on that bike. And you answered a lot of questions. Now, there's a lot of weirdness going on with this whole, like, bringing some gnarly looking security guard down to the gate with you. And of course, wasn't it kind of curious? This is a little off topic, but our security guard was a man of color because I guess apparently he had some threats, and he felt the need to. Somebody felt the need. I don't know if it was his idea, but somebody in his camp. I'm sure it wasn't Jet. Like, get me a security guard. Somebody in his camp's like, oh, we better put security around this guy. He's our cash cow. He's our golden goose. We got to make sure we keep him. Something like that, right? But let's say somebody came, let's say he had a white security guard, right? But why would he choose a security card, a card of color? That was kind of cute. Why not have a white guy? Why does it have to be a black guy? Well, I'll tell you why. Because the reason he's in hot water, because it was a racial slur directed at people of color. So that's why we had a colored security guard there. But anyway, back to Chase Sexton. Chase, listen, bro, here's the thing. You're clearly not happy. And this was a big moment when you crashed out of the first round. So the championship is already over, so why stick around? Especially knowing that you're not going to be finishing your career with KTM. You know, it's kind of curious because, back in the day, we'd see a lot of riders would really not bounce around as much. Now we're bouncing around so much, riders changing teams, and it's all about, like, ask Lucas Myrtle. These agents are negotiating the best contracts possible. So these guys are going with where the money is. I remember back in the Triple X, back in the day, I had this guy, Clark Stiles, and I was just at the office one day, and I used to talk to shops and dealerships all over America, and this one shop I don't know where they were at, Alabama actually, and they're like, hey, you got to check out this dude, Clark Stiles, man. Like, he's really good. And so, like, I looked him up. He was a privateer, and I'm like, God, this dude's actually been in the top 20 on a privateer bike. I called the guy and said, hey, man, the owner of the team's like, hey, yeah, get a hold of him. We got an extra bike. We got a spot for an extra rider. And I think at that time it was Kyle Lewis, Larry Ward, and we added Clark Stiles. And he put himself on the map. In fact, Cameron Steele, back in the day, when we had in Cameron Steele, I remember a bunch of guys did not like him in the booth because they thought he was a poser. But he dubbed him the Alabama Slammer. And he ripped a few starts or hole shots and had a couple decent finishes. And then the next year, he went over where JT was, which was Subway Honda, and had a horrible season and crushed his career. All for, I believe, $40,000 was the contract back then. And this was probably, I don't know, early 2000s. And so I remember talking to him after, and he's like, I should have never left Triple X because Triple X really launched my career, and the bike was so much better. And we had a really good bike over at Triple X towards the end. I mean, we were winning on that thing. Big Bird bags the Bud. I remember when Larry Ward won the overall at Bud's Creek. And it was an awesome time in the industry, and it was much more colorful as extreme sports, alternative sports, gladiator games, blood sports stuff, and it was very hardcore, and now it's pretty watered down, right? It is what it is, the progression of the sport. But here's where we got to get back to Chase Sexton. Chase Sexton, he's not happy at KTM. Now, whether KTM would have paid him the type of money he's going to get at Cowie, which it looks like that's where he's going to go, my guess it's going to be very similar money. He's not leaving, I don't think, necessarily this time for the money. In fact, he might even be taking less money. Now, luckily for him versus the Triple X bike versus the Subway Honda bike, these are factory level bikes, and these days they are just so equal. There's really no wrong choice other than learning a learning curve, right? And they'll give him plenty of time to test this bike. But the reality is do you think he's gonna last the whole season on this KTM, especially after what he just went through? I just don't think so. I think if it hasn't happened already at the time of this video, we haven't had any announcement. But remember when Cooper Webb bailed on KTM, he did the exact same thing. He ended up pulling out early and sitting out and left KTM and did not finish the rounds on that KTM. So we asked it on the community page. If you're new, get subscribed, jump over to the Walty Wanders community page of the YouTube channel, throw on an open face and fresh pair of tear-offs because the roost tends to fly. We asked it, is Chase going to finish this season on the KTM or pull out early? Well, let's jump over and take a look and see what you guys are saying. Then we'll meet back here and wrap it up. Let's get started. All right, race fans, buckle up, strap in, roll up your windows, lock your doors. When asked on the Walty Wanders community page of the YouTube channel, will Chase pull out of the outdoor series early? 58% of you said, yup, he's going to bounce, while 42% of you said, nope, he's going to stay in there and get smoked by the Wonder Boy. Well, we'll just have to wait and see, but you guys are leaning towards he's out. Now let's jump back to the studio and wrap this baby up. All right, friends, welcome back, and there you go. So this is an interesting one for sure. For me, if I was a betting man, which I'm really not, calculated risk, absolutely. Betting, I always say never gamble with more money than you're prepared to lose, right? So if you're gambling, man, always use that rule. Just don't gamble with more than you're prepared to lose. But if I was a gambling man, my money says that and it's close. It's close. Like, because Chase he's a different type of dude. I think he's got a pretty good moral compass, right? And I don't think he wants to leave money on the table, but he's got ridiculous, stupid walk away from the sport money already banked too. So he doesn't necessarily need the money. He's not like one of these other riders that needs to go out there and race rounds for finishes and prize money. He's got the money. The money's in the bank. It's there. So I would say there's a really strong chance that we're going to see Chase Sexton pull out early, and we're going to probably hear an announcement in the coming days or weeks of where, in fact, he's going to be going. Now, that contract might already be a done deal, and they're going to keep a lid on it until the right time comes. But that right time might come a little earlier than they had planned if he bails out of this season early. And final thoughts, I come to you as a friend, as a content creator, as a moto guy that wants to see you not only win on the track, off the track. Understand the waters you're swimming in now, they're shark infested. Chase, KTM, welcome to the swimming pool. It's unfortunate, but I believe that you're not only going to lose your marquee rider, but you're also going to potentially lose him early. And that number one plate is not going to be out there on the track battling the Wonder Boy. And even if he's not out there beating him, having that thing, getting TV time on your bike, especially right now after going through the financial woes that the company found themselves in from overspending during the stimulus era, banking on motorcycle sales that were skewed because the amount of money in circulation is now not there anymore. The U.S. savings rate now is at an all-time low, and U.S. debt is at an all-time high. People are shrinking. They're not spending money the way apparently some kid at KTM thought that this trend would continue. And that's why Walty will be here in the meantime to blow the lid off it every step of the way. Because it's not only what we need, it's in fact what we deserve. If you appreciate the content, I want to humbly ask you to give the video a like, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment below. I'd love to hear from you. Social media links in the description of this video if you'd like to follow me there. Simply search up Walty Wanders MX on Instagram. If you enjoyed this video, you're going to love the next video, and there's an easy subscribe icon for your convenience. As always, thank you for your time. Don't go over the bars. God bless, and I'll see you on the next video.